Hi friends, this is Dr. Vijay, surgical oncologist from Apollo CBCC Cancer Care.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Rushit Shah, medical oncologist at Apollo CBCC Cancer Care.
And today we are going to discuss about bone tumors. Bone tumors are actually very rare tumors to originate, but out of these bone tumors, most of them are actually benign. Benign in the sense they are not cancerous and they don't spread anywhere in the body. But the problem with these benign bone tumors are that they may gradually weaken the bone and sometimes even lead to a fracture. Apart from benign cases, there are certain scenarios where the tumor which is originating in the bone may spread to elsewhere in the body. That character may develop. These particular tumors, we call them as bone sarcomas or malignant bone tumors. Bone tumors per se are rare, out of which benign situations are more oftenly seen, and bone cancers are very rare. Having said this, these rare type of bone cancers are of three varieties most commonly, out of which osteosarcoma, Ewing sarcoma, and chondrosarcoma are the typical usual cases which we see routinely. So, the risk factors for these bone tumors are usually not clear, though there are many genetic variations which are being told or reported, or though many genetic variations are actually reported. So, I would like to know, Dr. Rushit, what would be the symptoms with which the patient usually presents?
So as you have already mentioned Vijay that these bone tumors are commonly tend to occur in late childhood, adolescent or young adults. So in this age group, patient usually develops complaint of pain around knee joint, which is the commonest area which is involved by this bone tumor. Other area which can be involved is hip, elbow, uh, shoulder, wrist, and back and spine also. So initially patient tend to develop pain around knee joint or other joint area, and over the period of time he or she notice that gradual onset of some swelling around that area or on a particular bone. So this is the usual symptoms when it is localized to that particular bone or joint. And gradually, if it spreads to other distant organs, then it commonly spreads to lungs, particularly osteosarcoma and Ewing sarcoma also, or other bone. So in those cases, patient may have complaint of cough, difficulty in breathing, blood in sputum, that is hemoptysis. Those kind of symptoms are also common in advanced stages. Some patients also have some constitutional symptoms like fever, generalized weakness, weight loss, decreased appetite also. So the message is any chronic pain around knee joint or any particular other joints should not be ignored in this children and adolescent population, because they tend to have minor sports injuries here and there while playing, and patient or their parents actually, they tend to they attribute these symptoms to that injury, but that should not happen, and any chronic or long term pain should bring attention to the doctor. So this is the message.
Right.
So, with this background and the clinical features that we discussed, what do we do after we suspect these bone tumors? How do we proceed, Vijay?
First, the clinical examination is definitely important after taking a proper history in the chronological order, and then the first investigation of choice is always an X-ray. X-ray always has classic features which may point towards a certain diagnosis, definitely, with which we have to correlate with the findings, our history taking, also the age of the patient, so that we can come to a diagnosis in our minds. And now we need to confirm our diagnosis, and the confirmation of diagnosis is only by removing some part of tissue from that particular area, which we call it as biopsy. So usually when we are actually planning for biopsy, the orthopedic oncologist or the surgical oncologist, whosoever is going to plan further treatment for the patient, has to plan the site of the biopsy from where the tissue has to be taken. This is very important, and this has to be kept in mind. It is not like any other tissue diagnosis where someone else can take the biopsy and so you can go to someone else for treatment, particularly in bone cancers and also in soft tissue sarcomas, because this has got a lot of major role in further treatments actually. So biopsy site has to be planned by the treating oncologist only. So post which, once the biopsy is done, or sometimes even in certain scenarios before the biopsy itself, we can go for a systemic workup, which means workup of the entire body to see whether the similar kind of tumors are there in other areas of the bones or not. Number one. Number two, we also need to know whether this disease has got spread to the crucial organs of the body. Most commonly in these situations are the lungs, which we can do by a CT scan. Suppose if the disease has not got spread anywhere else and if it is just confined to one particular joint, then we have to do an MRI of that particular joint to see how the tumor is, how big the tumor is, where it is located, whether it has come out of the bone, whether it has involved the surrounding muscles or tendons, and more importantly, whether it is only one or there are two or three at different sides of the same bone, which we call it as skip tumors actually. So these are also very important because entire treatment planning depends on these particular issues. So one is clinical examination, two X-ray, three biopsy for tissue diagnosis, and four to see the extent of the disease both on that particular local area as well as the distant spread. So Rushit, once this investigations are done, what are the basic modalities of treatment, and if at all, I think you can throw a light on chemotherapy as well.
Yes, so after diagnosis has been done by biopsy and staging workup has also been done, uh, now the treatment starts. So most of the time you usually start with the chemotherapy. That is, chemotherapy is usually given for initial 8 to 12 weeks of period, and it is a multi-day chemotherapy regimen with each cycle lasting for 2 to 3 days. And again, this chemotherapy are given at an interval of 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the protocol. So this initial chemotherapy is called neoadjuvant chemotherapy, that is given before surgery or before definitive radiotherapy. It helps in a lot of ways. First, it helps to decrease the size of the tumor, so limb salvage is possible. Second, it also helps in preventing the distant spread of the tumor. Third, it also helps in knowing the nature of the disease or type of aggressiveness of the tumor, so that we can predict. And so these are the benefits with neoadjuvant chemotherapy. After completing this certain cycles of chemotherapy, we go ahead with surgery or definitive radiation. And again, after that surgery or radiation, we continue our chemotherapy regimen. And depending on the protocol and the types of bone tumor, we continue that for either 30 weeks or 52 weeks. This is the usual course of chemotherapy. Yes, there are some side effects with this chemotherapy, like loss of hair, some feeling of nausea, generalized weakness, loss of appetite, and decrease in blood count, and minor infections also. But most of the time, these are quite manageable. And the third role of chemotherapy comes into metastatic disease, that is when it has spreaded to the other parts of the body. In that also, the chemotherapy is the main line of the treatment uh, do we offer. And here also there is multi-day chemotherapy regimen, as I've already mentioned. So this is about chemotherapy. Now Vijay, can you throw some light on the surgical modalities and how it is helpful in treating bone tumors?
Right, Rishit. As you have rightly said, before any surgical procedure, it's always mandatory and better to give neoadjuvant chemotherapy, that is with an intent of cure. So once the neoadjuvant chemotherapy is over, we will go ahead with surgery, out of which there are different modalities are available depending upon the size of the tumor, the location of the tumor, the extent of the tumor. Extent in the sense whether it has come out of the tumor and has involved the muscles or the tendons, because as a surgeon, as a surgical oncologist, and even any experienced orthopedic oncologist also, they always have one thing in mind. Aim of the surgery is always to preserve a functional non-cancerous limb. That is the only aim. So for this to attain, neoadjuvant chemotherapy definitely has a role. Second thing, all the tumor size and all which I have told. So the first aspect of surgery is to preserve the limb somehow. So out of which, where we do a wide local excision of the tumor with an entire cuff of margin, normal margin, where there are no cancerous cells, we will remove that, and this particular defect will be closed either by a bone graft or by a prosthesis, or sometimes even a combination of both. So this is called as a limb salvage surgery. Yes, there are contraindications to this, though our only aim is to preserve the limb. So depending on the contraindications, we may have to choose to sacrifice the entire limb, because in that scenario we think of saving the life, otherwise we always think of saving the limb. When it is not possible to save the limb, yes, our next option is to save the life only. So what are the contraindications? One, if the major vessels are involved by the tumor, or even though we can partly excise the tumor, but still if we can't give a totally functional limb, then there is no point in saving the limb. So these are certain indications where we have to sacrifice the limb. So once the limb is sacrificed, again we try to give an artificial limb, and definitely post any of these two surgeries, rehabilitation is must and very important for all. More than amputation, like rehabilitation is very much important when the limb is saved rather than a limb is totally removed. Apart from this, one of the third indication for surgery is metastatectomy. That is, the tumor which has got spread to the lungs can also be excised. Apart from the main tumor, if the tumor is lowly, if it has not got spread to other organs of the body, and if it is just confined only to the lungs, and if there are very minor amount of deposits in the lungs, then those can be removed by simple metastectomy, where you will just put in using a camera. It's a minimally invasive surgery. You will enter into the thoracic cavity, remove those areas which are affected by the tumor. So this is called metastectomy, which it also has got a very good role in prolonging the life. Right. So after talking about surgical modalities, though I have spoken in a very brief manner, so what is your take on what are the indications for radiation therapy, and how is it given?
Right. So I'm actually not an expert in radiation oncologist, but yes, there are some indication for radiotherapy for this bone tumor patients. First, whenever surgery is done and there is margin positive, that is, we resected a specimen and the margin is positive for a tumor, or there are certain high risk features, then the patient is referred for radiation treatment to that particular part. Second indication is in some bone tumor, they tend to involve spine or pelvis, where sometimes surgery is not possible. So in those cases, after chemotherapy, we usually go with definitive radiation to that part, and we try to cure the cancer by giving radiotherapy to that particular part. And third indication is in metastatic setting, where the tumor has spread to the other bones and patient is symptomatic for that particular tumor, like patient is having pain, long-term pain which is not controlled by other pain medications, then we refer them to radiation oncologist to give radiation to that particular bone to relieve the pain of patients. So these are general indications for radiation therapy. So after all this treatment is over, like chemotherapy, radiation therapy and surgery also, so what is the usual course of follow-up or surveillance that we follow for these patients, Vijay?
Right, Rushit. Like in all other cancers, follow-up is very important, even in bone cancers also. The frequency of follow-up in bone cancers is like initially once in 3 months for first 2 years, followed by once in 6 months for next 2 to 5, from third to fifth year, and then followed by once in a year after that. What we usually see is we take a proper history, we do a proper clinical examination, and sometimes even we do a local X-ray or an MRI of that operated area, followed by, unless it is an amputation done, followed by sometimes blood chemistry profiles also to see whether everything is going right or not. And if the patient has certain symptoms of lung issues or something, maybe a CT thorax has also to be done if there is any recurrence, and then followed up according to those reports. Otherwise, if the patient is fine, this is a routine regular follow-up schedule.
So I think this is it. The message is, though bone tumors are not very common at the same point of time, they are one of the most common cancers which is seen in young adulthood as well as the adolescents. So parents needs to be aware that this is an entity, and whenever their children have chronic bone pain, they need to be addressed and they need to be bring to the doctor. This is the thing. And regarding the treatment part, not every bone cancer patient needs to undergo an amputation. The limb can be salvaged, the limb can be saved with surgery, and there are excellent outcomes with overall treatment modalities of surgery, chemotherapy as well as radiation therapy. So if you have any suggestions or any comments, you can definitely write below, or you can go to our respective pages and share. Thank you so much.
Thank you.